I'm Adam Johnson. I'm a software engineering manager at Ivanti. We're in North Scottsdale. We're not hiring like Infusionsoft, but we will be eventually. So we're going to talk about why Scrum daily stand-ups need a facelift. And this is kind of bonus. You get a walkthrough of how my teams have been successful in doing a different daily stand-up. So the first thing you want to do on every daily is start with the burn down. So the burn down is going to help you drive the discussions that are going on with the rest of your rest of the daily. So just keep this in mind as you go through the task board, which is next. So you start with the burn down, move on to the task board. Most of these should be familiar for everybody. Hopefully everyone's using a software dashboard, not using sticky notes like we did 10 years ago. So we'll go over the 4 tasks. So the first one is problems with the 3 questions. So notice we're still on the task board. We're still focusing on the task board. As we go into the problems with 3 questions, the first issue is too much time is focused on the first question. What did I do yesterday? While the person's talking, we're more like this guy on the left that's standing there thinking about, when is it my turn? When do I get to answer the 3 questions? I don't really care what this other person is saying. That leads to not enough attention to the sprint goal. So by not paying attention to the sprint goal, someone keeps talking, and then that leads to a longer than 15-minute meeting. So with what I'm proposing for a different way to do the dailies, rarely do we ever get to 15 minutes. So another issue is the rigid communication format. You have to answer the 3 questions. Instead of having an open discussion among the team, figuring out how to get work done, you're just answering the questions. So we got done with the 3 questions, the problems. We're going to go back to the burn down and how important it is to help drive kind of what's going on with the team, being able to figure out if you can get your sprint done or not. So again, the burn down is always a tool for the team. It should never be used against the team. It should never be used to promote the team. Managers shouldn't even care what the burn down looks like. It should always be for the team. And then it helps guide your discussions for the meeting. So in this example that's going to come up next, we'll see in here we have 1 day left of the sprint. We're burning a little high. As we're going through the task board, like we're doing so far, we can discuss, do items need to come out? Do we need to focus more on the higher priority items? What needs to be done so we get the sprint complete? So moving on to time for a facelift. This is going to go into more detail of exactly what the team needs to do to make the dailies more useful. So just like we've been doing so far, we have to focus on the board. So you start with the burn down and then focus purely on the task board. You can throw away the 3 questions, don't answer the 3 questions, and then work from the top down. Hopefully we all have product owners that are driving exactly what our priorities are. So work top down, focus on getting the top items done first. And hopefully if we can all work on a lake, it helps remote team members be more engaged. So that way the remote team members usually go first in the 3 questions or last in the 3 questions just because they're on the phone and it's hard to kind of get them engaged. So doing it this way, as you work the task board, you just keep people always talking. So the last item on the task board is leadership. We always have at least one person running the daily every single day. It's usually the same person instead of having rotating Scrum Masters. So they do have to run the daily with precision. We have to make sure we stay on time. We're getting the task board moving along. We're getting people talking. And if anybody starts lingering on any kind of task, they can calmly just nudge them along and get the conversations going. So it should not be a manager. I do not run my team's dailies at all. Then it becomes a status meeting. And it doesn't need to be the most senior person either, because sometimes they're just not the best person to kind of move meeting along. They might be the most technical, and it's just not a good idea. And then they do have to strictly enforce the 15-minute meeting rule. I think we all hate when the 15-minute stand-up turns into 30 minutes or turns into an hour and continues on. And the focus should always be completing the sprint goal, which for us is just getting work done. So now we've got the task board done. As long as we have time left, as long as our working of the task board didn't take longer than 15 minutes, we can move on to any kind of discussions afterwards. This is keeping in mind what our burn down looks like and then the tasks. So if we need to bring in more work, now would be the time to discuss bringing more work. If we need to pull work out, now would be the time to discuss pulling work out. And then if there's any outside members, like the CTO or anybody else, if anybody's coming into town, that'd be a time to bring that up to the team. So the next steps, try it out, try anything out. Unless you're going through an agile transformation, then stick to your core Scrum guidelines. But then after that, just try what works best for your team. This works best for me. Hopefully it works good for you guys too. I think that's it.
Awesome.